At its core, Truex and our engagement ad format is really about bringing more value to publishers, consumers, and advertisers. This concept that it only really works and the business works best when everybody wins. So our engagement ad format, which is the thing that we are best known for, essentially gives consumers a value exchange. They have the opportunity to choose to interact deeply with one brand and skip the rest of the ads in a break when they're watching their favorite programs. Or they can just carry on and have a traditional ad experience. And by and large, when you give consumers this choice, they gladly opt in for that one deeper experience. And what we found is that that one deeper experience can have tremendous impact for an advertiser. We measure brand lift as a company, and we see that our engagement ad experiences are on average 5 times more effective at driving brand lift than a traditional video ad is. So that's more value to the advertiser. To the publisher partners that we work with, we make sure that they share in this value that's created by always making sure that we are replacing any lost ads by this value exchange and delivering them certainly the premium that they deserve for the attention that their audience is generating. And for the consumer, that gets something they desperately want, which is control over the ad experience and fewer ads.
Great, and tell us a little bit about sort of the scope of your partners, of your publishing partners, and how that's developing.
So today, Truex is deployed across almost all of broadcast and cable major networks, and we also work with a lot of native OTT players, as well as some really, I would say, leading-edge gaming players like Twitch, and a couple of student sites as well. We really focus, though, on high-attention environments, places where there's a really engaged consumer on the other end, and where we think we can make the experience better. Where we've really been pushing for the last 12 months is to expand in CTV. We've spent the last 12 months lighting up new publishers and new devices so that we can expand that footprint. And then we've challenged ourselves to go a step further and really push from a technical and creative standpoint what we're doing in the ad unit to take advantage of the incredibly rich canvas that is CTV. And the results so far have been great. We've been winning tons of awards for the work we've been doing with all kinds of categories, from Lego to Harley Davidson to Amazon. And even the CPG companies, which I think just shows that this is a format that works for any number of categories, and that there is a great way that you can be creative and push the envelope across sort of newer, more high-tech products like Amazon Alexa, and something that is been around for a long time, like Harley Davidson.
So tell us a little bit about the process of creativity, how that works, and kind of how you design a solution for a particular advertiser. You work with them, their agency, the publisher. How does it work?
So we specifically work on the media side with agencies and advertisers, and generally our entry point is with the agency, but often it will be directly with the brand marketer. And we start by figuring out what their KPIs are. There's a lot of things that you can do inside of the engagement container, but what you really want to do is make sure you're driving the objective that that brand has for that specific experience. Once we understand the KPI, we have an ad studio team that's a dedicated team that's in-house at Truex that works to take the client's existing assets and make the most of them inside of our canvas. We have a set of blueprints, if you will, which are really templatized and based on all of the learnings we've got over the thousands and thousands of engagement campaigns we've built, and all of the metrics that they have showed us about what's going to drive a consumer to experience and to go deeper and to explore. So we have a set of templates that we can leverage, or we can go totally blue sky if that's something that the advertiser has the time and the appetite to do. A great example of that is some of the work that we did with Amazon to really showcase the voice control that you get with Amazon Echo or Alexa. So we actually created several executions where you could direct Alexa with your voice inside the ad unit, which got great reception and, again, a lot of attention just for showcasing what you can do in these digital platforms.
Pooja, there's a lot of interest in performance, and that's a whole big growing area, big demand. What are sort of the demands that you're seeing for performance, and what are you doing with your Uplift product?
Performance is on everybody's mind these days. It's so important because at the end of the day, the only thing you really care about is, did the ad work? So for us, we focus on brand lift. And the reason why we think brand lift really matters is because brand lift, first off, is the leading indicator of conversion. If you see brand lift, you usually will see conversion down the chain. The other reason we really like brand lift is because even when you're doing attribution work well, which is really hard, attribution is only telling you about a sale. So, for example, a customer or a consumer is not always in market for a certain category, but that doesn't mean that every ad exposure they've seen during that period where they weren't in market didn't have value. It's still seeding an awareness, it's still driving perception, and it may even be creating preference so that when that consumer is in market, they will convert for that brand. So in a perfect world, you would be able to see both the conversion data, which is something you do with attribution work, and you'd be able to see brand lift. And that tells you the whole story about the value you're driving. We're focused on brand lift, again, for many reasons that I just went through. But where we see opportunity is the way that we are gathering brand lift data. So we have a product called Uplift. Uplift is Trurex's solution to drive brand lift measurement on every digital campaign. Today, we're actually able to measure brand lift in near real time across the Truex network on CTV, desktop, and mobile for every campaign that we run. And just recently, we started working with several partners to use Uplift to measure video performance on their own sold campaigns. So that's media that has nothing to do with Truex sales. It's just taking the same measurement product and letting it give insights to those partners about the performance of their own and operated video.
Without them necessarily using the unit, it's just
Exactly.
using the technology.
Using the technology. The way that we're able to actually gather this data at such scale is, again, going back to this value exchange that we created with the engagement unit. We give consumers a choice if they would like to answer a one-question survey and skip the rest of the ads in a pod, or if they'd like to have a traditional ad experience. You can imagine it's not very hard to get a lot of people to choose to take that survey, especially when it's only one question. That one question, though, can give us a lot of insight. We let consumers place themselves on the purchase funnel by asking them how they would describe their relationship with a brand. And each place that they can describe relates to a place in the purchase funnel. What also is really powerful about Uplift is that because it's all run through the ad server, and because we can do this at such scale, we're able to get a control and expose group that can number 500 plus within days of a campaign launching. And we also are able to make sure that the cohort for exposed looks like the cohort for control, both of which look like the cohort that was actually targeted for the campaign. So your survey group mirrors your campaign targeting. Once you can do this at scale and in real time, you can drive incredible insights about what's actually driving value for a business and a campaign, which media is working, which formats are working, which audiences are working, which creative is working, and that can really drive tremendous value for our partners.
Great, and finally we're getting ready for Cannes pretty soon. We've just come through the upfront. What are some of the topics that you expect you and your colleagues to be discussing when we reach Cannes in a few weeks?
I think we're looking forward to continuing to talk about a lot of the things that we were focused on last year, but then moving them forward. So again, we're very invested in CTV, and we're excited about seeing the rest of the industry realize that and brand dollars continue to flow to that environment. We want to absolutely continue to push the envelope creatively and technically to realize the promise of that platform in terms of being the most engaging ad space for reaching consumers. We're also pretty excited to talk about performance, specifically around brand lift measurement and everything that we are doing with our Uplift measurement product. And finally, I think that we're just really excited to be in Cannes because it is one of the best events of the year in terms of being a place where we gather not only our media clients, our agency partners, and our publisher partners all together.